Hi, this is Eric Lehman, and welcome to another edition of Morning Has Broken, and I don't want to fix it. Um, yeah, wow, what a big, beautiful day. Um, I can honestly tell you that the fast that was associated with Yom Kippur was definitely challenging towards the end. Um, it became more challenging as I went into father gear. For some reason, I could go without food with less issue in advance of, uh, you know, bus stop time and getting the kids. And so, I guess with that knowledge, it was nice to break the fast with them and to create a special meal around the breaking of this fast. And I felt like the fast was definitely a cleansing. Um, I felt like it was really a good thing to experience. Um, and a friend of mine today asked me if I experienced it alone, and I guess in a way I did. In a way, I was joined by probably a few million people. Um, so yeah, I mean there was like no one in my you know immediate proximity that was um, that was fasting alongside me, um, and and that was actually fine. It was actually quite a good experience to uh, to have that way. To just know that I kept my promise to God. The deal I made when I was 12 and a half years old. And it was just, I think it was much more than that deal. It was much more than the idea that that I was just living up to my word. This was truly a day of transformation and just, declaring it a new life and a new year. Um, and so I really have a heightened appreciation for all that this holiday has to offer, Jews and non-Jews alike. And I'll tell you, like, the other experience around Yom Kippur is that you know when I've experienced different churches and I've experienced different faith-based traditions, and you know all along that walk, whenever I feel like um, like a sinner, um, there's there's sort of resistance to that feeling. And so, a lot of the other celebratory holidays outside of the high holy days of Judaism, felt much more, um, uplifting. And for a long time, I had, you know, resistance to, anything in Christianity that made me feel like a sinner, made me feel kind of dirty. Um, and I think Yom Kippur, I sort of um, categorized in that same way, that same feeling. And this particular year, I didn't feel dirty. I didn't feel like full of sin. I felt like full of the opportunity to forgive, and I felt like it's an opportunity to reclaim um, my soul, my energy, my life source, um, and declare this year entirely different than last year, and this an entirely new life from any life I had experienced. And I feel like it's an important turning point. For some reason, breaking the fast today just gave me a new sense of renewal. And although I'm a bit tired now, I feel like my energy is elevated. Um, and one of the things that keeps on coming in during meditation and just whenever I'm in a heart space, um, is just this notion that um, that even an experience of sort of scarcity, which is like the fasting, you know, um, in a way, when I know that a big, beautiful break fast meal is going to await me, um, it just really alludes to the abundance that is constantly here, that is intended for all of us to share and live into. Um, I just feel like, the more I think about it, the more Yom Kippur is is about abundance. It's about the gift we get to give ourselves when we forgive and we ask forgiveness, when we lighten our souls and kind of package up the prior year and send it on its way and just recreate from here. It's all about abundance. It's all about, um, what is possible, and who we get to be when we've done these beautiful processes. And I guess here's another kind of true confession, if you will. Um, I'm only I'm relatively new at things that are disciplined. I guess one of the newer things in my life has been running. Started that around 2008. In the longer distance sort of way, the way where if you're going to run the distances that I get to run, you're going to want to have some sort of experience base for that, um, and that takes discipline. The running I used to do, and even the bike riding I used to do, there's a time where I just um, I I just decided that I was gonna ride a 90-mile bike ride around a lake, and it was just you know I didn't do much training. I just did it, um, uh, and that was how I lived my life. I just would get a burst of inspiration, and then I would just go to town and do something. Um, Sort of how I wrote my master's thesis that I haven't yet defended. It's sort of how I used to do artwork. I would just get a burst, and then, you know, I can't tell you how many incomplete pieces I have, um, you know, in my closet or in various places. Um, so, so all I'm saying with that is that discipline has a place. Discipline truly has a place, and um, I never embraced that early in my life. I never realized that having a tradition and a discipline of meditation, daily meditation, um, these are the most selfish things I get to do. And I guess what I'm learning is that I'm worth it. That meditation, is a worthwhile discipline, even if I'm the only one who benefits. That's a lot. That's already a lot. Um, and yeah, it's really cool. And so that's what I like about this opportunity to forgive and this discipline around forgiveness. I'm excited about the friends who have come into my sphere today to just, kind of ask forgiveness and to wipe the slate clean for the upcoming year. And it's really beautiful. I guess the other thing that makes me kind of curious, and I'd like to do some more learning around it, is that the new year for the Jewish calendar started 10 days ago. Um, and I've always been curious as to why this repentance process happens after the new year gets started, as opposed to leading up to it. So um, I just I know I'm gonna get to ask that question to someone who might shed some deeper light on it in the near future. So I will keep you posted as to what I learn. Because I think my sort of Americanized view of what it means. Let's just talk about like the New Year's resolution. The I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. The I'm gonna train for a marathon. The I'm gonna you know, write more handwritten letters, whatever the New Year's resolution is that perhaps we break a month in. I can't tell you how many gym memberships I've heard are sold right before the new year that are not at all redeemed, or at least used. They're probably, paid for. They just haven't manifested into actually someone burning the calories that they were intending to burn at the gym. So, so anyway, um, to wrap up this edition, I'm I'm excited about all these different traditions, these disciplines that I've invited into my life, and I invite you all to consider adding a discipline. Whether it's a 15-minute meditation. Um, if you're in a relationship, one of the pieces of advice that I think is just pretty neat that I remember from a book I read by John Tesh, of all people, believe it or not, in Intelligence for Your Life. He said, if you're in a relationship, how great would it be if you were to make sure that you had a discipline of at least one 15-second long kiss every day? And what could that do? What light could that bring? What spark could that bring to a long-term relationship? Um, I'm excited about living into that, and 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 probably 15 seconds is the least I would want to do. Um, so anyway, all these things, discipline is no longer a word that scares me, and I'm excited about what I next get to take on. And maybe it's a discipline around singing, maybe it's a discipline around dancing, or working out, or running more. I invite things in a more, I don't know, more intentional way. And I think that's what this year is really going to be about. It's going to be about setting an intention and living into it, and setting more intentions and living into those. And in a way, it's also about making fewer promises and keeping them. So what I get to do from this point on, and maybe it's an arbitrary line in the sand, maybe it's an important one. From this point on, I'm going to make fewer promises and keep them. And that's my resolution. That's the discipline I'm working on right now. So that's the message for tonight. I love you all. Talk to you tomorrow.